Yo, what's going on, everyone? Spikes, who are Spikes, and you. Look, we've been hearing a lot about this Wellbia Zinco 3 thing going on. I'm just coming straight out the gate. Should you be worried about this Wellbia Zinco anti-cheat? Short answer, no. As a normal player, as a general player, you should not really be worried about this. This is not really going to heavily impact you. Let's pull up what they had on the website. So as you can see here, a new anti-malware tool program manufactured by Wellbia, which is Zinco 3, will be gradually implemented on the PC version after the scheduled maintenance of 11/1/2023. Emphasis on gradually implemented. For anyone seeing this, and you're like, gradually implemented, because they're giving us an option to use GameGuard as well. Gradually implemented pretty much means that eventually it's going to be just Wellbia. Pretty much, like, plain simple, if you're wondering about that, that's what that means. It's pretty much going to be Wellbia. That's it in the future. Right now, you get both, but it's going to just be Wellbia at some point in the future. That's that. Wellbia's anti-malware program will be applied following the implementation, but it will still be possible to switch to the previously implemented Protect GameGuard via the game launcher. Now, y'all have heard lots of people on Twitter, primarily probably on Twitter, giving it an uproar about this anti-cheat software. But is that really valid? First and foremost, I will say that it's always the vocal minority. The people on Twitter who are uproaring about it, a lot of times it's the same people repeat posting, etc., etc. Now, let me jump into why it's not really a big deal. First and foremost, you have to understand that Zinco 3 is made by Wellbia, which is a South Korean company that's been around since the early 2000s. Now, Zinco 3 is a kernel level anti-cheat, which pretty much means it's invasive to a degree. It's granted high permissions over an administrator, which naturally needs to happen for anti-cheat. You're probably like, wait, what? That sounds very invasive. Guess what? GameGuard is a kernel level anti-cheat as well. They're from the same family. You know what else is an anti-cheat kernel level? Riot Vanguard, which I'm sure a lot of you probably played. Valorant, League of Legends, y'all have that. This is not of anything that is new or of any type of surprise or anything out of the norm. Kernel level anti-cheats are very common. Happened for a long time. So that's not really an issue. Honestly, if you're really worried about your security, you're really worried about your privacy, real talk, you should probably get rid of the thing sitting next to you, or that's in your pocket, or that you're watching this on. Your cell phone. If you're really worried about security, that's the first thing that should probably go, because I promise you there's a lot more getting breached to that cell phone than anything else that you should ever be worrying about. That's just facts coming from my IT guy. Anyways, you'll see down here that they see how to switch anti-malware program. So you do have the option to switch back over there, but this will eventually be phased out. There's no way that they're going to keep both of these running. Now, there are legit concerns for Wellbia and for Zinco 3. And, you know, I did a lot of scouring on the internet today because I was really trying to see if this was all just hysteria or if there was actual, like, real grounds for it. A lot of the articles I saw, you know, dated back to PUBG and Black Desert Online, and a lot of them are very old. Naturally, these programs will improve and fixes will happen with them as time goes by. So I couldn't find anything that was super current. And also, these are games, PUBG and Black Desert Online. These are games that are going to attract that anyway. And let me also state that we're always going to have cheaters. That's how technology works. Does not matter. We will always have cheaters. There will always be people who will find ways to cheat. So that's irrelevant. You know, that's going to happen regardless. But all these are kernel level. So that means that basically, you know, to remove them, you have to go into the registry to actually remove them. It's the same thing for GameGuard. GameGuard's a kernel level. So even after you uninstall PSO2, you would still have to go into your registry if you actually wanted to wipe out all traces of GameGuard. Same thing applies to Xencode 3. Same thing applies to Riot Vanguard. They're all kernel level anti-cheats. So that's what you would have to do. So from a natural player's perspective, should you be worried about this? No, you should not be at all. It's really not going to impact you as a player. One of the big things why I think they're adding Xencode is I think it's actually better in terms of like macros and stuff like that. Specific like looping macros, or, here's a perfect example. If you've ever watched me stream, we've ran into this one person, I'm not going to say their name, but there's one person in LaSalle Exploration who has a bot. I've reported this guy like 30 times, dude, on different occasions every time. Like 30 different occasions. I'm not even joking. Who he literally just comes in, he stays up top, and then his character does normal action attacks once we get transported to the boss. So he doesn't go into the regular map, but everyone gets transported to the boss. And then he starts doing normal attacks. And then his character cycles. And he just goes. He doesn't say anything. When he gets called out, doesn't say anything, nothing. He doesn't speak at all. It's clearly a bot. It's clearly running on a program, clearly running on some sort of macro, input system, regardless. But that's neither here nor there. But I believe that's probably why they're implementing stuff like that. Also with the recent creative space stuff that we had going on, which if you know about that, then you know about that. And keep in mind that if you're using a VPN, then this can potentially cause issues because it is kernel level, and it does what an anti-cheat is supposed to do, quite frankly. There's been things that we hear about it logging keystrokes. I couldn't find anything solid on that, so I can't say for sure. But either way, it's just a kernel level anti-cheat. It's to be expected. But ultimately, I figured I'd touch on this because the normal player is probably wondering, well, I see all this hysteria. Should I really be worried about it? Realistically speaking, no, you should not be worried about it. Most of the stuff you're seeing on Twitter is just hysteria. It's people who have legit concerns from PUBG and from Black Desert Online. But realistically speaking, it's just another kernel anti-cheat. And like I said, if you're really worried about your security, your privacy, I would recommend throwing your phone away and getting carrier pigeons and no longer using your phone at all. If you're really worried about privacy and security, that's what I would recommend. So, and if you're using anything Google related, GG's, because your privacy is already gone anyway. If you're using Google search, GG's. Privacy is the last thing you should be worrying about if you're typing stuff into Google, if you have a Google account. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this. Hopefully it was a little bit informative. And if you have any comments or any questions or want to give any input, then feel free to let me know down below. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Happy hunting. Holla. Spike content.